Hello and welcome to a Q&A with TCarta on a Satellite Derived Bathymetry use case, remote reconnaissance for amphibious landings. This month, April 2020, TCarta is celebrating Geospatial Intelligence Month, highlighting GeoInt applications of TCarta's services, data, and research and development efforts. TCarta specializes in coastal bathymetry and other products that target the shallow water zone. I'd like to kick off this Q&A with background information on why coastal bathymetry is a need for geospatial intelligence.
Coastal bathymetry is used by those in the geospatial intelligence profession to model the coastal environment and plan amphibious landings. In fact, some of the earliest remotely inferred bathymetry maps were mapped in preparation for the D-Day landing. So the need for coastal bathymetry is well established from a geospatial intelligence perspective. For the team at TCarta, we're invested in addressing the need for modern and up-to-date coastal bathymetry to support geospatial intelligence activities. Much of the existing coastal bathymetric data is quite outdated, and many areas have not been surveyed for a long time. Shallow water areas are extremely dynamic, and geospatial intelligence relies on accurate, modern data to make informed decisions, which is often in short supply in coastal waters. Take this official chart in Bimini, Bahamas, for example. During Hurricane Dorian in 2019, relief ships were trying to plan the delivery of supplies to the island of Abaco in the Bahamas after the hurricane, but they could potentially be working with 150-year-old information from charts in planning the approach and landing. Using modern satellite imagery of the area, TCarta is able to update this data with 2-meter resolution satellite-derived bathymetry, accurately identifying where the deepest channels and hazards to avoid. Here's another example. This time in East Africa, the efficacy of satellite-derived bathymetry in addressing the need for actionable intelligence in the geospatial community. Using existing information or lack thereof from nautical charts where deep natural channels are not indicated on the charts but are clearly surveyed using satellite-derived bathymetry. Without reliable information on charts, operators would be reliant on local knowledge to safely plan their approaches. When it comes to operational planning, modern, actionable reconnaissance is critical to the success and safety of the operation.
It makes sense that, being satellite-based, TCarta's bathymetry can provide essential modern data on coastal terrain. What other advantages does SDB offer for amphibious landing planning?
Well, let me back up a little to review some of the key advantages of satellite-derived bathymetry across all applications. With very high-resolution multispectral imagery from Maxar's WorldView satellites, TCarta has the capability to remotely survey coastal waters to 30-meter depths around the globe, depending on water conditions. The WorldView imagery archives allow for back-in-time analysis with high-resolution imagery to 2010. Using Landsat and 30-meter resolution, we can utilize nearly 40 years of historical archive imagery. Satellite-derived bathymetry also allows for broad areas to be rapidly produced, and newly tasked imagery provides the freshest look at the location of interest. By definition, satellite-derived bathymetry is remotely produced, so the benefit of not requiring mobilization of personnel or equipment is evident. And this has implications for scalability of the technology and cost-effectiveness of the data. Additionally, satellite imagery collection poses no risk to the environment or potential impact on marine life. To answer the question directly, satellite-derived bathymetry in its very nature remotely sensed, up-to-date, an invaluable tool for advanced reconnaissance for terrain analysis.
Thanks for that. That's a compelling list of advantages. And what insights can SDB provide?
How do those advantages I just mentioned translate into geospatial intelligence insights? Well, let's look at these examples where satellite-derived bathymetry provides operational level and timely information in an instance where marine or airborne collection is not possible. Here you can see the construction and changes to Subi Reef in the South China Sea between 2004 and 2018, and the breach in the reef made to facilitate vessels access to the lagoon. Satellite-derived bathymetry produced from the 2018 imagery provides a remote means of updating chart information to represent these changes to the reef, as well as to provide ability to remotely assess adversaries' strategic plans and plan operational contingencies for potential landing sites. In the bottom left image, the satellite-derived bathymetry has been colorized based on amphibious vessel drafts to indicate access points, and the elevation profiling of the satellite-derived bathymetry in the middle provides information on the approach. Used in combination with seafloor classification, SDB can enable determination for suitable landing sites, sandy areas versus rocky or coral areas, and ultimately facilitate landing diagram creation. Or, in this case, the existing outdated chart in the Red Sea. Only one safe approach is indicated, and with one choke point with a hazard or rock indicated on the chart. But with modern visualization using 2-meter resolution satellite derived bathymetry allows for the identification of multiple options and contingencies for approaches and egress. As opposed to the generalized information available on the chart, satellite derived bathymetry provides insight into the real-world extent and continuity of the reefs, allowing for additional routes to be assessed. Your mission doesn't end at the waterline. Extending the elevation modeling onto land provides a full picture, ideal for mission planning and whole picture terrain analysis. TCarta can integrate satellite derived bathymetry with digital elevation and digital surface models produced from worldview imagery to provide a seamless and remotely produced littoral elevation model.
Interesting. So, where in the world can this technology be applied?
Good question. Satellite derived bathymetry can be applied in diverse areas, diverse in terms of geography, but also in terms of habitat, seafloor types, and water clarity. You can see that in the variety of satellite derived bathymetry production sites shown here. Image 1 is an area in the south end of Japan, an area of kelp aquaculture, where engineered channels and kelp beds produce low bottom reflectance of sunlight due to the dark kelp beds and engineered seafloor. Image 2 is in the beautiful waters of the Bahamas. It's a great depiction of how repeated temporal processing of satellite derived bathymetry can capture shifting sand banks and changes to the seafloor. Sandy banks of the Caribbean are ideal for satellite derived bathymetry where clear waters are optimal, though the seabed is also quite dynamic and subject to drastic changes due to periodic hurricanes. Image 3, remote islands in the Pacific where often surveys haven't been conducted in 100 to 150 years, and to do so with an aerial or marine operation is cost prohibitive and impractical due to logistics and mobilization of people and equipment. Image 4 shows another area of remote islands, in this case an anti-access area due to disputed sovereignty here. The image depicts how satellite derived bathymetry enables remote monitoring of potential outpost construction and inference of strategic plans for vessel berthing. Image 5 shows a heavily engineered environment in UAE with significant dredging activities. Yet SDB is leveraged to monitor change and efficiently facilitate new dredging projects and model the changes to the hydrodynamics of the waterways. Image 6 shows Arctic Canada in a location that can be categorized as both remote and dangerous to navigate, with numerous unmarked hazards and harsh weather conditions. Satellite derived bathymetry worked in these high latitudes despite narrow summer imagery collection windows. Last but not least, Image 7 depicts the effectiveness of satellite derived bathymetry in locating unmarked coral heads in lagoons and coastal areas around the world that are generally left uncharted but can be critical to geospatial intelligence operations.
Those are stunning images and interesting use cases to think about. And shifting this discussion even deeper into use cases and the end user's perspective, I'm wondering, how can these data be incorporated into operational planning workflows?
We get this question a lot. At TCarta, we're thinking about ease of use for the end user all the time in our product design and pursuit of integrations with third-party softwares. TCarta's global bathymetry product and satellite derived bathymetry can be easily integrated into existing desktop softwares and workflows as streaming web services or direct delivery of digital data. The data can be provided in a variety of digital formats to facilitate viewing and analysis of these data in numerous widely used software platforms, including Esri, ArcMap, and ArcPro GIS software, and Keras hydrographic data processing software. Point cloud and gridded elevation files are provided, and for satellite derived bathymetry, a per-point uncertainty metric is included to provide end users accuracy information on the quality of the data product, allowing for a more informed end user. Also of note, TCarta has partnered with Maxar Technologies, the world's leading supplier of sub-meter resolution multispectral satellite imagery, to integrate TCarta's Marine's base map and satellite derived bathymetry products into SecureWatch, a web-based geospatial intelligence information and analysis platform, empowering Maxar SecureWatch users with greater situational awareness in the maritime domain. All subscribers to SecureWatch have unlimited access to our global marine base map for global and regional viewing. Users can order high-resolution marine information and satellite derived bathymetry for specific areas of interest through Maxar. Thank you for the great questions. I hope you found this to be informative on the application of satellite derived bathymetry for geospatial intelligence. If you have any questions of your own, please send them to questions@tcarta.com, and I will happily answer them.